Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze. Oh, my.
Luca Nation, what's going on, gentlemen and ladies? We have some ladies in the audience now. I want to start with a topic that I saw all over the internet. So you guys know, NBA Topshot's booming. Modern cards have taken a hit, but most cards are up the last few months. And Cage, my question to you is, how do you know when to sell? And I saw a really good insight that I think might help people, but let's discuss it. It's if you're not willing to consider buying your card at the current market price, you should consider selling it. What do you think about that line of logic? Are you confused?
It's interesting. I'm very confused.
So what he means, or what she means, what I saw in the story is, let's say you bought the LeBron Topps Chrome. You got it at $8,000. Now it's $40,000. But hey, you think that's a $100,000 card, and you might even do dollar cost averaging, and you'd consider buying it again at 40. So don't sell it then. If you would rebuy that card at 40, you think it's a good investment at 40, don't sell it. But if you're at 40 and you're like, heck to the no, hell no, I wouldn't buy it, then I think it might be time to consider selling that card.
Okay, I like it. It's a great topic of conversation. I'm going to say no. And here's the way I'm going to put it to you. And you actually told me this once. We were talking about sports betting. It was one of our football episodes. And I said, all right, this is two high-scoring teams. But I'm not 100% sure that, with the defense and the weather, these guys are going to go over the number. It's 44 points. I don't think it's going to be 44. I don't like the over on this one. And I said, well, you know what, though? If I don't like the over, then shouldn't I like the under? I mean, if I don't think these teams are going to score 44 points, well, then shouldn't I be picking the under on this one? Shouldn't I be betting the under? And a smart guy who happens to co-host a podcast with me, smart and handsome. There's so few of you, man. So
I'm blushing.
Said to me, no, there are games you can stay away from. There are games that you don't have to be, you look at it and say, okay, the market kind of priced this one right? Vegas kind of priced this one right. So can't we also be saying that a card might be the market just right now has it right? Can't we be saying that maybe the LeBron is a $40,000 card? And then I guess the follow-up to that is what makes cards different than sports betting is you can stay away from a game. If you don't think it's a good bet over or under, you just don't put action on it. But I think your topic is you have the card already. You already have the action out there, right? So you're already committed to it. If you don't think it's going to go up from there, then does that money you have in that card now become dead money? And you should be moving into something else that you think is a good buy at that price. It's a great topic, man. I love it. It's not something I've ever really thought about, but with the card market going up as much as it has been, it's definitely a valid thing to think about.
Great point. It's funny that you say that. So I was holding a stock last night. It's called Ship. They do maritime dry shipping all over the world, mostly to China, over the oceans. And overnight, they did it's called a stock offering. So they basically sold a portion of their stocks, for $75 million, so that they
diluted the heck out of it, huh?
They buy another tanker. Exactly. So what's interesting is, and what people need to realize is, stock market, Topshot, any marketplace, there's this nonstop thing called price discovery, right? We're trying to really understand, what is this asset worth? No one really knows what a LeBron Topps Chrome's worth. But when there's a stock offering, right? Share offering, that stock traded at $1.70 the entire day. That was the exact price that they offered the institution to buy shares from them. So it's really interesting when we're going through all this price discovery, and boom, a big investor comes in and is like, that's the price, right? And that's what you see. You kind of saw that with the Michael Jordans now too, right? A big institution comes in and they say, okay, well, this is the price. And now it's going to fluctuate a little bit. It's going to be 650,000, 750,000. But it's funny that happened last night.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's I'd love to say you have me thinking now. I mean, it's funny. It's not something I was thinking about coming into the episode at all. But there are many of my cards that have run up. There are things I have ideas of where to put money, and maybe it's time to move on from some of those cards and put the money somewhere else. I'll tell you a good example, right? So I was giving Mariano Rivera 1992 Bowman as my pick, a dozen times. It was always my like bonus extra pick, right? It was like, hey guys, if you want a flight to quality, $300, $400, $500, that's the way to go. Well, I'm not buying it anymore at the $1,600, $1,700 to $2,000 it's at now. It still might be a bargain, but I'm personally not buying it. I have to tell you though, Andrew, it's not as easy as hey, would you buy it or not? To me, you have to have different levels of stock. It's different levels of these cards. I can tell you that I've been burned with exactly that equation that you're talking about more often than I can, that I can't share it with you. You know what I mean? Like, if LeBron was $1,000 for that Topps Chrome and when it hit 2,500, I was like, oh, wow, it's just gone up, a huge amount, more than doubled. It's no longer a buy for me. I was buying it at 1,000. I'm not going to buy this at 2,500. Think of that. Think of the numbers I just told you. It's absurd. I want to strangle myself. And I said, this is no longer a buy. So I sold it, right? Derek Jeter, buying his Topps Gold card at $400, $500. And when it got up to, $1,000, $1,200, I was like, I'm getting rid of this. I sold to our friend Gary V, a whole bunch of them for $1,000. And obviously I was wrong. Where I've been right is when it's not the GOATs. So I guess my little wrinkle to your equation here is if you're doing these calculations, like, and you're thinking, oh, well, let me move my money on, be careful, because the GOATs always seem to have another leg up in them. Those Jordans, those Jeters, those LeBrons, those Kobes, even though you look at it on first blush and you're like, wow, this thing is really run. I thought when Kobe Chrome hit 18,000, I was like, that card's ridiculous. If I had one, I'd be selling it right now. And how wrong would I have been? So
same concept applies to Topshot. Like now, I don't know if you've been on Twitter all day. Topshot is the news of the day. Everyone's tweeting about it. 1:37 p.m. did an article about it. Would you be surprised if LeBron Gold Series 1 sells for $50,000?
No, because we think it's already at 18. Right, yeah, it's crazy. Right. Honestly, dude, I have no idea. I have no clue. Top Shot, it's just one example of that. But you're right. That's the ultimate in price discovery, because not only is it how much are these guys worth, it's how much is this new format worth? How much is this new alternate investment vehicle worth? So that's got two phases of discovery: pricing of the player, and then pricing of the asset class in and of itself. Although I got to tell you, I don't understand this stuff. I put it in our group today. I don't understand Top Shot. I don't understand NFTs. I don't understand it as well as I probably should, but it is a train that I'd rather be on than in front of. And I've said this now a couple of times to a lot of people, because I go on Twitter and it seems like every time I log on, some other rich person has changed their avatar to a crypto punk, which they're phrasing as the Rolls Royce of NFTs. They're paying $50,000 for a crypto punk. No baloney. Our friend Jack Settleman, who came on, who listens to the show, Jack, if you're listening to this, that was a cool crypto punk. I think he traded maybe some Top Shot stuff for a crypto punk. It's like, you can see, it's like a redheaded, like AJ. Check your friend AJV.
I didn't understand what that was. I thought that was like kind of. I thought that someone did that in Paint. You remember Paint?
Yeah. I was gonna have Ian make one for me.
And then you would you throw like the bucket of paint in, but you'd miss the spot and the whole background would get in. Nope. I guess it wasn't. That's crazy.
I can't branch out to crypto punks. I'm sports. This is it. But if somebody wants to do a Marvel NFT, let's go.
It's also important to realize, just with crypto specifically, that there's a lot of crypto millionaires out there. There really are. It's kind of an interesting wealth transfer that's going on. There are people that have had 10 Bitcoins. 10 Bitcoin sounds like a lot until you bought them 5 years ago for $200. Now you have 10 Bitcoins and now they're worth, what, 520K? And you're like, now I could, play around with these tokens. I hit the lottery at the arcade. Cage, Sportrepreneur, Steve asked, do you think Top Shot and NFTs are replacing sports cards, or they're adjacent? Are they complementing sports cards?
It's like everything else. There is a market for everything. I'm not going to be in soccer. I saw Mbappe had a hat trick and he scored 3 goals and his card allegedly bounced up. I saw a fancy slab stock chart. That's probably just one sale. But here I've been selling Mbappe Prism cards for $650, and now it looks like they're $1,200. Another cage special. It is what it is.
Well, we gave that as a play, actually, Cage.
Yep.
I mean,
If it wasn't,
you were in profit on those cards, so you made money either way. But we were talking about that.
The point being, there's a corner of the market for everyone. That corner of the market is not for me. The NFTs and Topshot is not going to be for everyone. I don't think it's going to replace physical cards, although I will tell you, with the exception of what I purchased with my eBay bucks, I have not purchased cardboard in the volume that I've been purchasing Topshot moments, just because of the ease of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on, you buy, $2, $3, buy a pack, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot easier. My mailman says thank you to Topshot every day, I'm sure. But what I would tell you, it's like anything else. It'd be the same thing as discovering a new type of card or a Harry Potter sticker or, a new sport that you want to invest in or WWF, you name it. I wouldn't say it's going to replace anything in your portfolio. Maybe it expands your portfolio. Maybe you put 2 or 3 or 10% of your portfolio into it. I currently talk about it a lot. It's probably right now about somewhere between 5 and 10% of my sports card portfolio. It's just getting a lot of press now, a lot of talk from me because it's new and because we're all trying to figure it out.
Well, it's not 5 or 10%. It became 5 or 10% because of the appreciation. But
100%. It was like my initial investment was less than 1%. Definitely.
Yeah, your initial investment was tiny. It was just you didn't expect it to blow up like this. I mean, if you really think about you bought a stock before it went up 230,000%. You got pretty fortunate with those Series 1 packs.
Yes. Well, fortunate. I researched it. Listen, you were on the other end of a phone call. So when you know, right? That's what they say. So when I say to you, this is going to go, I consider it part luck, a lot of luck, and there was just something to it. There's just something to it. And if you do enough research around and you spend a couple hours on Twitter, all of the right people are all talking about it.
Luck is when opportunity meets preparation, right? Let me ask you, is there a site that that's under maintenance more than Topshot?
No, but it's a weird, man. We're going to have them in and we're going to talk to them. And it's one of those things I'd like to talk to them about because I've been trying to buy moments all day and I can't. And every time I hit buy on something, it says we're in maintenance. But I will show you my moments are being sold. Like I'm getting sales notifications. So someone's in there buying my stuff. I had a low number bowl Series 1 that I listed. It's sold. Had a low number, Denny Avija, that's sold. Just so people are definitely buying this stuff still, even though it's under maintenance. So that's a little weird. It's a little odd. Those are the kind of things they're going to have to get at in front of because it looks, for lack of a better word, it looks a little weird.
It's interesting. Anyway, it's so funny that you brought up Mbappe because I have a play.
Mbappe.
First off, he's a menace. The hat trick, just running away. I mean, the Barcelona defense has been notoriously terrible, but I think there's a cool opportunity for you guys to still get on the Mbappe train for cheap. And it's a play I actually brought to you guys before, and it's a sticker play. You can get the Mbappe stickers. It's like a pink back. You could get them for $8 to $10 a piece. Some are a little bit more expensive. They're maybe $20. I've seen some sales that are $80 for one sticker, but that just doesn't make sense. That's someone overpaying. But you can take a look at the pink back, which is, I think, just the base, and you could take a look at the Mbappe gold sticker. Why do I bring these to you guys again? You're basically making money if it gets a PSA 8, 9, or 10 on those stickers. And I think those stickers are going to appreciate. I think Europeans love stickers. And Mbappe is just the best player. He's the best young prospect. And those Prism cards, sure, Prism is sought after, but they're a little bit pricey now. And coming in and grabbing a sticker, which I think are kind of cool, Cage. Have you seen what the stickers look like? You left me. No big deal. So the stickers are kind of cool. And
I'm on mute. I'm sorry, man. I'm on mute. I'm like, yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them. Listen, I'm not a fan of stickers, but I like the soccer stickers. I think soccer stickers they hit different, right? Especially because that's just been what they've been in that soccer market for quite some time. That and the Harry Potter stickers I recently just bought, which is pretty cool looking. But other than that, I try to stay away from stickers. But yeah, I've seen them. They're cool.
And you stay away from stickers in the sense that you don't want to own them, but the European market loves stickers, and that's what they've always been buying. And let's just take take a comparison, right? So you can buy an Mbappe Prism Prism base card for about 120, 150 bucks. But more than likely, that's already been picked through, okay? And you're paying 150 bucks, and if you get a PSA 9, it's a $330 card. PSA 10 now, it's back over 1,200 bucks. Now, you could get a sticker, which hasn't been picked through, hasn't been subbed as much. You get them for 10 to 20 bucks. If it goes PSA 10, it's $500 plus card. PSA 9 is over 100. So you're getting a way better multiple. A Prism Raw to a PSA 9 is you double your money. Prism Raw to a PSA 10, it's 6x, 7x. Now, you do that with a sticker, you get a PSA 9, that's 7x, 6x. You get a PSA 10, that's 15, 20x. So your multiples are way higher. I like the play. It's a really cheap entry point. You could grab a lot of them, like literally a lot, and they're sold in lots. And you can buy, let's say 5, sub them all, keep one in your collection, the PSA 10, sell off the PSA 9s, and you're in profit. It's a cheap way to play the next great soccer player in Mbappe. Take a look at that. You could also apply that to like a João Feliz or Haaland or some other guys that you might think are better plays.
I like it. So, but I mean, little soccer fun, little soccer sticker fun. So do you know, because you're more soccer than I am, do you know what the events are this year and whether or not there's any kind of jeopardy of them? Wasn't there supposed to be like the Euro Cup 2021? That was supposed to be this year, right? Is that happening now? Do you know?
Euro 2020, but no, it's not happening.
Well, I thought they pushed it back to this year.
Oh, let me see. I'll double check it.
Take a look. Because I'll talk over while you're looking, because when I told people I was selling my Mbappes, and I had like 30 of those.
You're right.
They pushed, PSA 9s and 10s.
You're right. Yeah. They pushed it to 2021.
So it adds a little layer to your play, right? Because, he's going to be on display. And folks who know soccer, people that I work with and whatnot, I'm like, I'm selling my Mbappe. They're like, why? Just wait a couple months. He's going to be on full display for this Euro Cup, and it's the same thing for all these soccer guys. Damn, if PSA gets me back my Mason Greenwoods, forget it. I got hundreds of Mason Greenwoods in there. If that guy can stay out of trouble, keep his head on straight, maybe grow up a little bit. Have some money there. But
there's a funny joke in the soccer world that England is the classic buy the hype, sell the news. England never wins anything, but before any major tournament, their fans are as excited as ever. They always tell you why this year is the year that they're going to win. So those Mason Greenwoods, let them go just slightly before the tournament starts.
Right before. All right, I like it. So my play, I couldn't be in the opposite direction, more the opposite direction. And guys, this is it's amazing. It's uncanny. Andrew and I didn't speak today. We come on the episode, and I never know which direction it's going to go, where we're going to speak. And my play, it really dovetails well with how he introed this, right? Because we want to talk to you about, strategies on your cards, not just cards. We don't want to just tell you, hey, go out and buy a full art from Burning Shadows. We don't want to tell you, go out and buy this specific, penny card. We want to get the strategy behind it. We want to get the thought process behind it. We want to get you thinking, right? So when Andrew tells you, hey, reevaluate your cards, and if there's a card that you no longer you think is a buy, maybe it becomes a sell. I'm doing this myself, right? So I'm selling some of my cards myself. Cards that were $500 that are now $1,500. Cards that were $2,000 that are now $10,000. And to me, it makes sense to look for quality assets that during that time have not gone up the same amount, and in some regard have gone down, but also seek out quality lower pop cards. So I'm not going to dump a ton of money into a bunch of modern Prism basketball from the last 2 years, because I think the pop is just crazy. But if I were to ask you, Andrew, let's just say I had a couple $1,000s to put in. If I were to ask you, tell me the top 10 players in the NBA right now. Basically like MVP runners, MVP front runners for the last year or two. Who would you give votes to? If I gave you right now 10 votes for an MVP, throw LeBron in there, go right ahead, and then give me some names. Go.
LeBron is clearly MVP.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go Kawhi number 2, Luka number 3, Durant number 4, Jokic number 5, Curry number 6.
Embiid and Curry 6 and 7. Go ahead. So I'm waiting to see if my guy makes his way into the top.
I love how you don't even have the patience for me to answer all 10. This guy is incredible. He's a New Yorker. He's a New Yorker. Okay, so Embiid is 7, Curry 6, Embiid 7. Giannis, I'm gonna put him.
That's okay. I'll give Giannis one of the bottom 3. The order doesn't matter. Give me 2 more.
2 more. Dame at 8.
Okay, so you could stop. It only took you 9. Dame was my guy. So you made the point for me, which is a top 10 player in the NBA. A lot of people might even put him higher. And definitely last year, he was thought of as higher than that also. He's a damn good player.
It's so interesting. So, I don't mean to cut you off, Cage.
Yeah.
I always feel like top 10 player and top and most valuable should almost be different things because
they are. You're right. Because Embiid, I think Lillard is better than Embiid overall, or I think Lillard might be better, and higher. Like Embiid is higher up in the MVP race. Jokic is higher in the MVP race this year. But if you look at the last 5 years overall, most people would probably put somebody like Lillard higher than both of those guys.
Yeah, because that team is nothing without him.
Yep.
That team is literally nothing without him. So
by any measure, he's a top 10. He's an MVP candidate. Every year he's talked about that way in the whole deal. So my play for you guys today is, do you remember in the bubble what the 2012 Dame Lillard was going through? Remember when he was putting up, 40 points a game and he just went on like a 40-point run during last season? Remember during the COVID season? That card was hitting $3,000. PSA 10 Prism, 2012 Prism rookie of his. All right, it was high 2s, low 3s, 3. Let's call it 3. You want to call it 2,500? I don't care. Call it whatever you want, right? Last week, that card sold for $1,125. There are a ton of them available for $1,600, $1,700, you name it, or best offer. So what I plan on doing is taking a couple of my $500 cards that are now $1,500, $2,000 cards that are, and building up a little bit of a bankroll with stuff that has gone up. And I look at that card with a significantly lower pop than the 2018, 19, 20 Prism cards, than those rookies. And it's a guy who is a perennial top 10 player, who is in the MVP discussion all the time, whose team's going to make the playoffs and make some noise this year. And I'm going to turn a card that's gone up 3, 4, or 5x into a card that is now close to a third of the value, 40% of the value that it was last year. And it's different for me than to say, I'm going to put my money into Kobe White silvers. It's different than I'm going to put my money into Tyler Hero cards, right? Because they're down from the peak. This guy's peak was warranted. It's in an iconic set with a significantly lower pop than what we have going on now. And I know that there are impetus for his card to go up. I know the team to make the playoffs. I know they're going to get a lot of play as Carmelo starts to continue scoring and moving up the top 10, because you're going to look at the box score and say, okay, Carmelo scored 16 points, then move past Hakeem Olajuwon, and right under him in the box score, Lillard's going to have 37 that game. You know what I mean? So, he's definitely got some triggers for him. And to me, that's the kind of card that becomes a cornerstone of a basketball collection, because he's a top guy. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to bet. I bet on a lot of things. I bet on Marvel earlier in the year. I bet on a lot of things. I'm going to bet that basketball is going to make a little bit of a comeback because of all the money that's been made on, let's call it, not vintage per se, but 90s and 2000s basketball. People are going to come back into the more modern market, but I think they're going to be more strategic with where they put their money. And cards like that 2012 Prism, which have just basically been lumped into the modern Prism market, they're going to separate themselves. And I think that's a good place to put money. And I would venture to say that at some point, as the playoffs approach, that card's back over $2,000. So there's my play.
I like it. I don't know a player that's more culturally relevant than Dame. Like, dude, have you heard some of his mix tracks?
Yes. Yes, I still think Shaq was a better rapper than Dame. I'm just kidding.
You have a crush on Shaq, be honest.
I do. I love Shaq. Well, listen, I'm the big guy. He's the big guy. I'm a fan of Ewing. I'm a fan of Olajuwon. I'm a fan of Shaq. I like David Robinson. I like Alonzo Mourning. You know, when I was watching basketball as a youth, the big man ruled. So that
That's
was,
true.
that was the deal. It was all about the big men.
When Cage was a kid, they would the point guard would come up the court, he would just dribble up the court, throw it in the post, everyone would just spread out and let the big man do its thing, huh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there were. It's funny because the arguments of who were the best center. My biggest argument as a Ewing fan was he's the best jump shooting center to ever play the game. Think of that. You know what I mean? Like now centers, first of all, there are no centers. And second of all, centers are, they dunk the ball. Or centers are guys, no one works on a post.
Anthony
anymore.
Davis is a center, right? In theory.
You could call him that. I mean, we could argue about whether Tim Duncan was a center or a power forward. And, he obviously had a bunch of great post moves, a spin and go off glass. He went off glass like nobody's business. So, guys, before I put a period on my play here with the Dame Lillard, Lillard is not the only play, right? I want you to start looking at stuff like this. In that same year, you have other guys. You have Bradley Beal, who's having an MVP type season as well. And, I don't even have, I think I might have one left of those. I might have sold them all, but those PSA 10s, they're inexpensive also. We know somebody who was buying all of them for a while there. So, but that's another guy who's in that set. He's not playing this year, but Klay Thompson's cards have gone down significantly in that same set. And the same line of reasoning applies to Giannis the following year, in 2013. So I'm looking at those basketball guys that are considered more modern basketball, but are not in these last couple of years of massive, massive overproduction. That's the next thing of basketball I think bounces back.
I will say, every time you bring a 2012 play, I think it's insane how good the 2012 release was.
Yep.
Like, think about Bradley Beal, man. I feel he's an interesting guy. He doesn't make a fuss, but dude, imagine Bradley Beal going to the Lakers. I know it's not going to happen, but that would be. Imagine. I would love to see Bradley Beal on a contender, man. That card would skyrocket. There's 12 Prism PSA 10s of the silver and only 400. I don't know how. I think there's only 400 Prism PSA 10s of the 2012. So sorry to hijack.
I sold the silver for like $2,000 and change through PWCC, a PSA 10 silver. I sold it probably way too cheap because there's only, and I think there were 10 at the time when I sold it, but it's 12 now.
But he's made it clear he doesn't even want to trade, so it's like kind of hard to hold that card. You're like, he might never win anything in his career, and he'll be like the greatest. He'll be up there with T-Mac as like a what if, I know you're not a big T-Mac guy.
I love T-Mac. I just don't.
You don't think he's a good scorer?
No, I don't think he's an all-time great scorer. He can score in games. He could score in bunches, but that was not what I was looking for. Perhaps that argument was my fault because I did not frame the question properly. I have nothing against T-Mac. It looked like he was asleep all the time, but, besides that, he
averaged 32 points a game when they were like scoring like 93 points a game total for the team.
Yeah, he was a good player for not that long of a time.
He was a good player.
He was a very good player. So was Pete Maravich.
That's true. Pistol Pete. His dad used to make him sleep in the garage when it was cold. He had like a military dad.
He did, and a military haircut, but he had some great handles. What else you got, man? Because we've given our plays now. What can we give to our audience here? What can we give to our listeners?
What can we give to them?
I'm going to give a big thank you to them because most likely by the time they have listened to this, and we'll post about this, but most likely when this episode comes out, by the time they're listening to this, they will have helped us reach 100,000 listens on Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze. We will hit that tonight, February 17th, exactly 7 months to the day from the day our podcast released, right? So did I have that right? July? Yeah, 7 months. July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Yep, 7 months to the day, and we will cross over 100,000 listens. Which, I mean, come on, guys, thank you very much for that. When this lunatic over here told me we should just start talking to each other and record it and let people listen, never in a million years did I think we'd have that many folks listening to us. So thank each and every one of you. We thank you very much. We're about to hit 5,000 followers on Instagram. The faster we hit that, the faster you get our special announcement with some giveaways and all kinds of fun stuff. So if you know anybody who's not following us, first of all, smack them over the head. hit him in the head with a hammer, because it's just dumb not to follow us, because it's great content. And who doesn't want to make some money? Follow us and make some money. But yeah, get us up to 5,000, and so we got a fun announcement coming, and definitely a whole bunch of giveaways as well when we hit the 5,000. So, you got anything, man?
I'm just looking at Twitter, man. Topshot, more and more people who are like NBA fans who aren't sports card fans are getting on Topshot, which is super interesting to me.
Which is why they have maintenance all day today, because obviously they cannot keep up with the amount of people trying to buy into what's going on.
Yeah, but what confuses me, Cage, is even though they're going through maintenance, my portfolio, like my intangible.market's changing.
Is dropping?
Well, it's changing. Like, I can't buy anything. My Dapper balance is sitting there, but my moments are changing in price. Like, what the F?
Listen, it's a question we can ask when they come in. Because I am sitting here doing the same thing. I keep hitting buy, and it's telling me we're in maintenance, but then I get a little indicator that my stuff is being sold. I'm like, what the heck is this, man? I can't buy, but somebody else could buy my stuff.
I'll give a shout out to them. So that happened to me, and I messaged them, and they were very cordial and quick to respond. Because last night they were going through maintenance, but my moments were getting bought up, and the prices continuously were going up, but I couldn't change the price on my moment. So I sold it below market value, and I said, dude, guys, I understand you have to go through maintenance, but at least let me delist the item, right?
Yep.
So
listen, maintenance, the whole thing's supposed to shut down. So it's an odd thing. But hey, look, it is what it is. We will.
Well, it shuts down except for Gary and Ken Golden, and then they go in and they buy all.
They go in and they buy whatever they want. How about Ken Golden getting $40 million? How much of that was yours? 4? You were 10% of that investment, right?
No. Ken Golden is like the hobby darling right now.
Yeah, until he's not.
It's funny how we do that, right? As fans, like either we anoint someone as like, wow, this guy is like the next thing, or like, oh, we don't like him. It's so interesting. But I like Ken's a family man. I think he's from Philly too, right? Or he's always wearing like a Phillies hat.
I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't like good sports teams.
What do you mean?
Come on, man. I'm giving you a hard time because you're from Philly. What are you? He's like, you should have seen that face, Luca Nation. Maybe we'll clip it for you. So what do you mean? It was a very crooked face there. So
I like our teams more than I like our fans. If you were to ask me,
I like your cheesesteaks more than I like anything out of there. But other than
how do you take your cheesesteak? How
do I take my cheesesteak? Hot and on repeat. I take more than one. So we talked about this a couple times, right? So I'm a Cheese Whiz guy, 100% Cheese Whiz, 100% Cheese Whiz. You gotta go Cheese Whiz. And I'm a Tony Luke's guy.
Me too, brother.
I like Tony Luke's.
Nah, man, provolone with fried onions is the move.
Okay, well that's what do they call that one? That Tony Luke's? They call that the Snobby McGee. That's the Snobby McGee cheesesteak, right? That's you, Snobby McGee. That's I
would respond. I don't like canned cheese. That to me is gross.
Comes in a jar, actually. Real Cheese Whiz comes in a jar in the supermarket.
No, it doesn't.
They have the big. They don't have like real like brand name Cheese Whiz. They have like, but yes, they have huge metallic cans.
Jetro. Do you know what Jetro is? Like that big industrial building where like all restaurants go shop. Dude, that building, when I would go shop for our cafe, I would have to walk so fast because it's freezing cold. The entire building is like a refrigerator.
All right. Jethro Tull. He's it's a good musical artist. That's it, man. I got nothing else. We went through some Topshot. My cards didn't get scanned into Star Stock again. I check every day. Let's see what else we got. That's it. We're gonna hit 100,000 listeners tonight. I'm excited. Peace, Luca Nation. Check out those 2012 prisms. Check out some areas to put your money into, and send us some messages. If you have any questions or you need anything from us, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Luca Nation.
Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.